FCT in Focus, your go-to program for the latest updates and in-depth insights on activities shaping the nation's capital. I am Naomi Oleribe, and it's great to have you with us. As the festive season approaches, the Federal Capital Territory Administration is gearing up with activities and initiatives tailored for the Yuletide. This week, we'll take a closer look at the annual roundup from various FCT agencies, highlighting their achievements and progress so far. We'll also engage with the Abuja Municipal Area Council, AMAC, to discuss steps being taken to tackle the issue of fake revenue collectors on roads this holiday season. All this and more is coming your way, but first, let's dive into the major headlines and updates from the week. President Bola Tinubu has presented the nation's second budget proposal before the joint session of the National Assembly. Presenting the 2025 appropriation bill to Parliament, President Tinubu unveiled a budget estimate of 47.96 trillion naira. The president explained that the budget reflects serious challenges faced by the country and contains key reforms necessary to address them. Given a breakdown of the 2025 budget, the president said the total projected revenue stands at 34.82 trillion naira, out of which the expenditure is projected at 47.96 trillion naira, an increase of 36.8% from the 2024 estimates, while the deficit for 2025 is projected at 13.8 trillion naira, representing 3.89% of GDP.
The highlights of the 2025 budget allocations: defense and security, 4.91 trillion naira. Infrastructure, 4.06 trillion naira. Health, 2.48 trillion naira. Education, 3.5 trillion naira. As we embark on implementing the 2025 budget, our steps are deliberate, our decisions resolute, and our priorities are clear. This budget reflects a renewed commitment to strengthening the foundation of a robust economy while addressing the critical sectors essential for the growth and development we envision. To secure our nation, security is the foundation of all progress. We have significantly increased the funding for the military, paramilitary, and police forces to secure the nation, protect our borders, and consolidate government control over every inch of our national territory. The government will continue to provide security forces with the modern tools and technology they need to keep us safe. Boosting the morale of our men and women in the armed forces will remain our government's top priority. The officers, men and women of our armed forces and the Nigerian police force are the shield and protectors of our nation. Our administration will continue to empower them to defeat insurgency, banditry, and threat to our sovereignty.
And now to security issues. The Minister, Barrister Nyesom Wike, has tasked security agencies to ensure adequate measures are in place to ensure safety of lives and properties of residents this Yuletide. Barrister Wike said this during a security meeting with relevant agencies this week as the year rounds up. Let's listen.
Of course, this period, so many things, so many assignments have been dished out to the to fulfill. I'm sure this will be the last security meeting for this year. And the other sense is to know how prepared we are in this period. Normally, criminals would like to take advantage and try to make it uncomfortable for our citizens. I believe that we are prepared to provide security for us. We have done well, we have done very good policing, but we will not fold our arms and say, well, things are very much okay now. We continue to be vigilant to make sure that there's no room for anybody to manipulate. The people in Abuja must sleep with their two eyes closed.
Meanwhile, briefing journalists immediately after the meeting, FCT Commissioner of Police CP Olatunji Disu stated that various security agencies will work hand in hand to ensure total clampdown of criminals in the nation's capital.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are intensifying our patrol, especially for the year tide. We have concluded that we have not done badly for the beginning of the year, so we have some few more days for the year to come to an end. The military, the police, and other security agencies here are going to embark on clearance of a lot of identified places. So when you see movement of troops, do not be afraid. These are security operatives embarking on clearance operation for us to have wonderful New Year celebration. We have decided to embark on joint patrols of areas, and then a lot of areas have been identified for us to put in men that we may not have been seen before. We want to use this opportunity to thank you for your cooperation so far and to solicit for more cooperation from members of the public. We thank them so much for the wonderful information that you bring to us. We have never had it this good, and we are still soliciting for more. Our numbers have been put in public domain. In case you see anything suspicious, quickly tell us so that we can contribute to making the celebrating period wonderful. Thank you, Mr.
And still on the issue of security, the Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, says it is taking security architecture to the doorsteps of FCT residents. Mr. Adamu Gwari, Director Security Service Department of the FCTA, stated this at the department's end-of-year press briefing. Mr. Gwari identified one of the security architectures as the ongoing construction of 12 new police divisional headquarters with staff quarters across the 6 area councils of the FCT. He added that security agencies were also being supported with logistics and operational vehicles to improve operations in rural communities.
The Honorable Minister's visit to the 6th area council at the beginning of the year, where he interfaces with the members of the community as regard to what are the issues that are most concerning them in either a developmental level or security concerns. And that gave birth to the minister's decision to bring to the doorstep of FCT residents the security architecture of the FCT, particularly at the rural level. And as such, I can beat my chest to tell you now there is an ongoing project of construction of 12 brand new police divisional headquarters and 6-man police quarters at the 6th area council across the FCT. These are measures to ensure that security are brought to the doorstep of FCT residents. And in line with the minister's observation and based on the statistical information we generated, it is observed that prior to his coming, the major areas of security concern is the rural security challenges, where you find kidnapping is more prevalent. Today, we can beat our chest to say that the number of reported cases has significantly dropped. Before now, you will notice that sometimes on daily basis and at least weekly, you can hardly see a week pass without having a report cases of kidnapping. Now, when we check our statistics, you will notice that sometimes a whole month you will not hear of that. This is basically due to the measures in place and the magnanimity of the Honorable Minister to support whatever we are doing in ensuring that the security agencies are effectively supported. More of such all of you are living witness what the Honorable Minister is doing in terms of provision of security and enhancing the provision of security, particularly at the rural area. So for now, I can assess that based on the effort in place, the department has done well in terms of ensuring that the security agencies are adequately supported where they need such support, particularly at the rural area.
Still on issues of security, the FCT Commissioner of Police, CP Olatunji Disu, has reassured residents of their safety during the Yuletide season. CP Disu was speaking at the passing out parade of personnel of the command. He explained that the 2 weeks refresher training is aimed at equipping officers and men of the force in preparation of emerging security threats.
This is the end of the training for officers of the FCT Police Command today. They have been here for some few days after 2 weeks of intensive training, following the directive of the Inspector General of Police that all commissioners of police should go back to their areas and ensure that they do periodic training and retraining of their officers. This has been done in the FCT Command, as all these officers you see here performed today are taken from various divisions. They are officers from various divisions that have been trained in various activities of policing: arms drill, riot drills, stripping and assembling of firearms, and being proficient on the weapons they carry, the AK-47 rifle and even the GPMG. The women among them were not left out, and they have done so well today. With this, we have been able to bring back the quick intervention force, because these officers will be going back to their various area commanders. In case of any happenings, these officers will be deployed to quell the demonstration or any uprising before the mobile units are brought in to assist to complement it. With this, we are bringing back the police of the old, and they have shown proficiency today, and they are a force, a unit to be proud of by the Inspector General of Police and Nigeria in entirety. I want to thank you for taking your time to come. I'm sure you have seen them and you are so proud of them. And they have given us their word that they are going to come out blazing to assist in bringing down criminality in the Federal Capital Territory. I want to use the opportunity to thank the Inspector General of Police for giving us every demand for this training to take place. We had everything we needed for this training, and it's going to be a periodic thing. I want to thank the Minister who assisted us and encouraged us to ensure that our officers are more proficient as they are supposed to be. Thank you so much for listening.
Foot drill, riot control demonstration, and stripping and assembling of rifle were some of the areas of the training.
On behalf of we, the trainee, we were being brought here for tactical training. We did all the phases of parade and also raid, which is riot drill, and stripping and assembly of rifles, especially AK-47, GPMG, and we did all that within 45 seconds and also within 1 minute. And we did the best shooting, and all shooting we are all grouped in one place, which shows the excellency and the perfectness of all the trainees, which it's possible for we to engage every operation and come out successful. And even encountering any mob at any location, and we'll make sure we will make every situation calm without any complaint. And also, in our respective postings, we'll make sure we effect all that we have learned here to make sure we reduce all crimes and all criminals in every society. Thank you very much.
We train them on weapon handling. We train them on riot, how to contain riots. And we train them on various capacity of the training, starting from the parade, how they will use their weapon, how they will, if the weapon is spoiled, how they will use it, or how they will repair it. We have been here for a good 2 weeks. Today we come to an end where you are going to see what we have done with them. And we thank our CP for giving us this opportunity. We wanted this more opportunity to still train our men again. Sir, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity.
And moving forward to community development issues, the Minister of State for the FCT, Dr. Maria Mahmood, has disbursed $25,000 to 10 communities that qualified for the pilot stage of the Community Revolving Fund. Dr. Mahmood stated that the disbursement is a key component of the agro-climatic resilience in semi-arid landscapes projects. This project was designed to support small-scale farmers in rural communities. Also known as the ACReSAL project, funded by the World Bank, the project aims to strengthen climate resilience at both community and household levels by promoting sustainable land and water management strategies tailored to local needs.
My esteemed privilege on behalf of the Federal Capital Territory Administration to be here today at this monumentous occasion on the flag-off ceremony of the disbursement of the Community Revolving Fund CRF to communities in the nation's capital, as well as the distribution of water pumping machines to community interest groups, motorcycles to the FCT forest guards, water tankers and multipurpose trucks to support reforestation efforts to the FCT administration and the people of FCT. I'm delighted to acknowledge that the Community Revolving Fund is a pivotal aspect of the agro-climatic resilient semi-arid landscape project, that's the ACReSAL, specifically under the component B, which focuses on bolstering agro-climatic resilience at both community and household levels by promoting locally and adapted sustainable land and water management strategies, and through climate-smart approaches to agriculture and natural resource management. As you're all aware, I have at various fora described the ACReSAL project as a game changer, given its potential to address some of the various serious environmental challenges the FCT is confronted with, stemming from over 4 decades of intense infrastructure development without recourse to the damage of our landscape, as well as the strain brought about by population explosion. It is in this regard that the timing of this initiative is really apt, particularly significant as it aligns with the federal government's strategies effort to combat the escalating food crisis in the nation. It further reflects the FCT's administration dedication to uplifting the lives of the most vulnerable groups, thereby fostering a more equitable and resilient FCT. So as we gather today for the formal disbursement of the Community Revolving Fund, which 10 of our communities are about to benefit, we are filled with optimism and enthusiasm We firmly believe that with the various community interest groups, armed with the necessary knowledge and skills and backed by effective monitoring system from the FCT project team, this initiative will drive transformative growth and development in our communities and the FCT at large. Each of the 10 communities that are qualified for the disbursement, and it has been mentioned, are going to receive a check of $25,000 through their respective community revolving fund management committees. I would like to take this opportunity to remind our beneficiaries that although this CRF is provided at 0 interest, but it is good that it will be timely repaid, and then for sustainability and for others also to benefit from these funds. I urge you to utilize these funds wisely and responsibly, leveraging this opportunity to enhance your socio-economic well-being, improve your livelihood, and contribute meaningfully to the development of our communities. It is heartwarming to note that within the 2 years of implementation, the ACReSAL project has had a tremendous impact on the territory. These reports coming from our communities following the distribution of agricultural inputs and machineries, which I had the privilege to flag up in Kwali area in July, as you can see through that way it was shown there, are very encouraging, and most groups are expecting a bumper harvest. So we are happy and we're sure that our people are going to benefit significantly. And I heard from our royal fathers that they really appreciate what FCT is doing to the farmers, but we need more. And we assure you that this is the beginning. We have been going to distribute fertilizers, we've been going to give tractors, and so many other things related to agriculture for our farmers, and will continue to do so. I would like to commend Madam Joy for all her effort, and also Dr. Abdulhamid, the National Coordinator, for all they've been doing to FCT, the ACReSAL program. We really appreciate, and that as Liver Toys will ask for more and more from the World Bank so that we give it to our people. I also commend the Mandate Secretary, Malalawal Gaidam, and the whole team for their hard work. I would also like to extend our gratitude to the people of FCT for their patient and steadfast support of the FCT administration in our relentless effort to deliver on our promise and transforming the capital territory. And I want them to be rest assured that this administration remains steadfast in its commitment to enhancing the lives of our residents and creating a vibrant, thriving city in line with the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President, His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. Your unwavering support, trust, and confidence in us are invaluable in this process. I will not take that for granted. I will welcome you and I thank you for your time, and I also congratulate the beneficiaries. Thank you very much.
Also speaking, the Mandate Secretary for Agriculture, FCTA, Alhaji Lawan Gaidam, assured that the FCT administration would continue to implement strategies aimed at protecting the interests of small-scale farmers in rural areas.
In line with the CRF implementation guidelines, today's disbursement serves as a pilot event focusing on 10 communities, which include Dafa, Bako, Sheda, Fukafa, Ike, Tekpese, Wako, Ashara, Bauji, and Rugambature. Each of them will receive $25,000, which is the equivalent of 38,775,000 naira through their respective community revolving fund management committees. The expectation is that the CRF will be self-sustaining, enabling more groups to access the funds as it progresses. Meanwhile, the project will continue to train and prepare more communities in other area councils for disbursement. I want to assure everyone of our commitment to ensuring that the funds are utilized effectively and prudently for their intended purpose. To achieve this, we will leverage the established mechanism for monitoring and evaluation to help track the progress the groups are making. Our focus is on creating a long-lasting sustainable impact in the communities. Ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to report that the implementation of the ACReSAL project in the FCT is progressing seamlessly, and we are thrilled to see that the project intervention, which span across components A, B, and C, have been yielding the desired results. Similarly, the project has significantly enhanced the lives of our community members by providing over 41 solar-powered boreholes, 270 stand-alone solar lights. Similarly, the project has taken support for climate-smart agriculture, especially during the dry season, with the construction of over 60 tube wells. ACReSAL has also provided assorted agricultural inputs, machinery such as fertilizers, agrochemicals, improved seeds, tractors, power tillers, among others, which have helped farmers increase their productivity. As part of institutional support, the project is currently working with the project officials of Agri Secretariat to develop a policy on agri and forestry.
Addressing the initiative, the acting head of service, Mrs. Grace Adayilo, the project coordinators and some beneficiaries underscored the significance of the funding in improving the standard of living and ensuring food security.
We are so delighted. It's a pleasure and a privilege for us to encounter this ACReSAL project. It's a life-changing, revolving project. You can see how happy people are. You know, that is a better ways of technology that farming have to be done very easier. Like before, the issue of dry season farming was very difficult, but you can see the pumping machine, you can see the solar power, you can see the fund. In fact, the agri input is given and being empowered too with money. So we are grateful, and we are already yielding and responding to food security as enshrined in one of the dividends and the plans of the Renew Hope agenda by His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So everybody is excited, we are so happy, and we are so grateful.
The Agroclimatic Resilience in Semi-Arid Landscapes project is your project, is the project of the people, and indeed the project of the federal government of Nigeria, supported by 19 northern states and the FCT. So when the mandate secretary told us here that the inroad and impact of ACReSAL project cannot really be counted on the finger of his tips, of the tips of his fingers, we feel delighted and encouraged to do more. Honorable Minister Mamman, FCT, beneficiaries, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are here today, like the mandate Secretary of Agriculture said, to be witnesses to the disbursement directly of $25,000 to 10 communities under the deliverable of a project subcomponent that speaks to Community Revolving Fund. And like the mandate secretary said, indeed he understands clearly what this fund is supposed to be meant for. Beneficiaries and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the fund is supposed to service and support our farmers at the rural areas and community levels. Indeed, you are actually grouped into cooperatives for ease of impact and management. We will be coming around to ensure that these funds are expended as you are trained, because he said we provided capacity training for those that are benefiting from this intervention. The reason being that this fund should not be used by my counterpart male to go and marry more wives, please, or my sisters and mothers to go and buy Hollandies or buy gold. It's essentially meant to be used as an enabler and empowerer for our community people to be able to turn around and live on their own, because like the mandate secretary said, it shall be a revolving fund. We are delighted to hear in the long list of intervention that ACReSAL has provided to FCT include what we have witnessed today, the forest guards. The information available to us at the federal office is indicative of the fact that this has not happened in the last 17 years. Please, I want you all to clap for ACReSAL. Thank you very much for clapping for ACReSAL, because one of the deliverables is to ensure that our forests are not only reserved, but we ensure that trees are planted as part of efforts to address our climatic challenges. So we identify with that foresight. Indeed, it ties to the motorbikes that will be distributed. The tax team leader asked me, did we actually approve the motorcycles? We must answer this question by ensuring these motorbikes are essentially used for purposes of providing the guards for the forest that we have employed these gentlemen. It should not be used for Okada because we cannot justify that expenditure.
Today, we are here to celebrate the community members, and you are the reasons why we are here. You are the beneficiaries of this intervention. I'm not here to bore you with lessons of what the CRF is or what your expectations in terms of deliverables are, but rather to remind you of the commitment towards ensuring that as you use this fund, that it will be used for climate smart activities, that you will help in the restoration of over 1 million hectares of degraded land as committed under ACReSAL. And with this, and the strong team that we have on the ground from the federal and the state, including the leadership of the Honorable Minister, the mandate secretary, and the ownership of the royal fathers, I can stand here as the tax team leader for this project to say that we know that we are on track in here at the FCT, and we wish you a successful implementation.
This project is community-led project. It's community-driven. We don't go to community and just give them things. We go to the community and ask them what are their needs, what do they want going forward. So now it's just based on their request. All this we have given is based on, and we have to give them trainings. We have a lot of capacity building that we have graded on how to use these machines and also how to maintain their soils and other things. So definitely we have direct contact with these people, and we have training on various and climate smart agriculture and a lot of trainings.
Very grateful for this project, and we pray that may Almighty Allah provide for us the good guidance that will guide us to make this project a successful and fruitful one, just as he revealed himself to us. Thank you.
So we are going to use it for farming and business so that our community will be booming.
At the event, Dr. Maria Mahmood also flagged off the distribution of water pumping machines to community interest groups, motorcycles for FCT forest guards, a water tanker, and a multi-purpose truck to support reforestation efforts by the FCT administration. Acting Executive Chairman of the Federal Capital Territory Internal Revenue Service, FCT IRS, Mr. Michael Ango, has disclosed that the agency generated over 252 billion naira as of December 18th this year. Mr. Ango made this known during the end-of-the-year briefing held in Abuja. He stated that revenue represents a 19% increase compared to the 211 billion naira generated in 2023 and amounts to 101% of the 2024 revenue target of 250 billion naira.
Ladies and gentlemen, given the huge revenue needs of the FCT IRS will carry out aggressive enforcement activities against tax defaulters in 2025. We're going to send out notices to tax defaulters. We're going to carry out audits. We're going to carry out investigation. As I mentioned, we have set up an audit unit. And this will be done, of course, after we have properly educated our residents on their tax obligations and giving them the opportunity to voluntarily comply, as we have recently done with the high net worth individuals who we have sent notices to comply. We will extend our enforcement action to all taxpayer segments, and we will not hesitate to impose the necessary sanctions and penalties under our laws, including filing criminal charges against tax defaulters where we determine that that is the best course of action. Let me also state that we will provide multiple channels for taxpayers in 2025 and beyond to pay their taxes. We will improve the use of technology in tax compliance. As I mentioned, we have already engaged a revenue improvement consultant who will support the FCT in this regard. We are building a portal, a very robust tax administration portal that will cater to the needs of Abuja residents in terms of collection, reporting, accounting for taxes. One of the things which we'll be doing next year is also setting up, providing multiple payment gateways. In fact, since resuming as chairman, I have approved the onboarding of additional payment gateways. When I came, we had only one payment gateway, which was not efficient or which was not robust enough. So we have onboarded additional payment gateways, and as the need arises, we will also onboard other payment gateways so that taxpayers have multiple channels by which they can pay their taxes. We will also be looking at using POS channels and all of that, especially for the low-income earners and also for those who are not within the city center where you may not have access to banks or to robust technology platforms. Additionally, in 2025, we'll be setting up kiosk offices in various locations in the FCT, including markets, parks, plazas. The whole idea of those kiosk offices is to bring tax administration and revenue administration closer to the people. So what we intend to do is that we're going to work with the various organizations or associations, those in the markets, in the parks, in the plazas. We'll set up kiosk offices so that where persons who work or who live around those areas want to comply, they don't necessarily have to look for a tax office. They can find one within, a stone's throw or within a walking distance and interact with those tax offices, which will be well equipped with all the necessary infrastructure and technology to enable them provide services. The whole idea is to bring tax administration closer to the people and ensure that residents of FCT can easily comply with their tax obligations. As an agency, we want to assure you that we commit to improving transparency and accountability in our operations, and we will continue to provide regular briefings and publications of our activities and revenue collection in the FCT.
Revenue collectors under the Abuja Municipal Area Council, AMAC, are tasked with ensuring that motorists in the Federal Capital Territory possess all necessary documents to move around the city. However, for some FCT residents, encounters with these revenue officials often lead to confrontations or, in some cases, allegations of harassment during document check. In our interview segments, we spoke exclusively to the head of Information and Public Relations at the Abuja Municipal Area Council, AMAC. He shared insights on the council's preparations for the festive season, focusing on strategies to handle and identify fake or illegitimate revenue collectors during this period.
Okay, my name is Kameka Mbano, and the Regional Head, Information and Public Relations, Abuja Municipal Record.
Okay, thank you. Our conversation is going to circle around the Christmas season and how important AMAC revenue collector is a, witness in road transport, road management and stuff. We'll start us with the issue. Some residents have this certain concern that there are some revenue collectors on the road do have a sole concern and they are not legitimate from AMAC. And these concerns have been growing, and there are fears that as this Christmas season is coming, more of this might be seen on the road. So what is AMAC doing to address this issue of fake revenue collectors, especially in this festive season?
Okay, Abuja Municipal Council have issued a press statement earlier before now to address the issue of fake revenue collectors. especially on the road. These people that are standing on the road, the honorable chairman has already told people to beware of all this, because definitely you are going to see doubts among the people that were original revenue collectors. And the touts are more in number because of the great concern. If you check the society, because of lack of employment, so many people employing themselves by making sure that they get daily bread. By so doing, touts are more in number than the people that the council engage to collect reward. However, the executive chairman has called on the resident earlier on to beware, to be aware of all these revenue collectors, and they has as well called for a meeting of all the pressmen. That's it, the press conference where he dished out a message concerning the pet revenue collector in Abu Dhabi Federal Council. However, the council is doing all they can to stop all these revenue collectors by, one, the council engaged the people we call tax force or revenue generation. These tax force men are going about from one point to another to make sure that they apprehend all the revenue and hand them over to the police. That is one of the major things that the council is doing, because these tax force, you may not know them, they will just go about, pretend as if they are only computer to make sure that they get at all these revenue collectors, hand them over to the Nigerian police that is working there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Without really many question, how will an FCT resident identify a legitimate AMAC revenue collector on the road?
Okay. All legitimate revenue collectors are working for one revenue collector or the other. That's what we call the consultants. And all the consultants are advised to make sure that you give them uniforms and ID card. So anytime that you accosted them on the road, you just ask them, let me see your ID card, let me see your identification to know who you are. Because without the identification, you may not know who they are. And definitely, they will just rip your
Yes, so it is important that residents act for the identification. Yeah. So do you have any word for some FCT residents that you think that have experienced bad confrontations with tax collectors? To some extent, they can argue that it has made them lose faith, having some form of doubt on the legitimacy of this whole process. What word do you have for them, for any residents that you think has generated some form of doubt in the whole revenue collection process from your own perspective?
Okay, let me start by apologizing to the people that have been a victim of all these revenue collectors in the name of AMA. In as much as I would like to apologize to them. And at the same time, I want to let them know that the council is trying to, have a synergy with the FCT so that we can harmonize all our revenue. All our revenue. It's no more just AMA. No. It is now all encompassing, all the revenue within the area councils and the FCT in totality. So definitely there must be a dedicated line. As we speak, it has a dedicated line that each time you accost all these fake revenue officers, you try this line to find out whether these people are. I will give you the numbers. The very first thing you need to ask them is, please, may I know you? What actually do you want? If they tell you, then you can tell them, okay, I will get back to you. You go and call this number, tell them where you see it. They are the ones to tell you whether these people are original revenue collectors or fake revenue collectors. And at the same time, they can as well help to call their consultants who sent them to find out whether they sell anybody around that area. So these are the things that the council is in. We are trying to automate all our revenue processes. All the revenue processes. It's no more handwritten. This time around, there's no more paper. You can make your payment through phone, online, or go to the bank or whatever. This time around, we will automate everything, put it together, make sure that all our revenue processes are automated, and we work in synergy with the FCT government. It's no more, this one is AMAT, this one is FCT. No, we just want to put everything together to make sure that we come out properly and then that put our revenue.
Okay, I was going to talk about technology, but you have hinted on that already, on how to take the process further. And you lead to my next question on the limitations. Where exactly does the revenue collectors or AMAT as a whole, where exactly does their reach, where is their limit in the axis of, AMAT, the city said that where is their reach, where is the limit exactly on the road? Where will you get to and you say, the AMAC doesn't have any business with this place for now?
And every revenue collector, especially on the road, they have no business to do in the city center. What they call the FCC, Federal Capital City. They have no business to do in the city center. But all the satellite town, like where you get the DD, that's just exactly what the executive chairman say. There the DD Johnson at Nyanya, Johnson at Karu. Jupoi, Karishi, and that's where you have the people. But everything within the city said, please, desist from going there. That is what the executive chairman tell all revenue collectors. They should desist from anything within the city center. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dapper. Tell us about the document itself. What are they documents? This is Christmas season. Everybody will be traveling. There will be a lot of movement. Can you identify those necessary documents that is needed for any roadside user to avoid having issues with AMAC revenue collectors?
You mean the roadside users, the motorists, Benefit or west or north or south?
Or within the shooting center movements?
No, as far as your car is not bearing any red number. As far as your car is not bearing any red number, it's not a commercial vehicle. That's what we are meant to understand. So I don't think you have anything except you are using your vehicle as a commercial vehicle in disguise. Then those people can disturb you. But as far as you are not using your vehicle for commercial purposes, you have no business to do any papers.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, sir. So, is there a level of community awareness? I understand that you've explained that the AMAC chairman has had a press conference to settle this issue, but is AMAC having community engagements with residents, town hall meetings, if we can call it that, to further buttress this issue, to hear from the side of the residents, and of course, the revenue collectors themselves come to a face-off with residents? Is AMAC planning on doing something like this to create more awareness?
Yes. AMAC is planning by January, because January is the first month in the year. By January 2025, we are planning to roll out town hall meetings, stakeholders engagement with both the commuters and the revenue consultants. They will come and tell us what they intend doing. And at the same time, the council will at the same time look at how they have planned to automate everything concerning revenue collection. It's not just road users. We are talking about the entire revenue collection in Abuja Municipal Area Council. So the whole thing all encompassing. By January, between January and February, we'll roll out sensitization, town hall meetings, the stakeholders engagement in respect of revenue collection and other things that the company is going to do.
Okay, finally, sir, before we round up, it's Christmas season. Do you have any word from a personal perspective, from a director of information perspective, from the council itself, to road guide users, to motorists, on how to make the whole festive season peaceful without having any sort of clash with the revenue collectors. Do you have anything to say from your own perspective?
Yes. On my own end, just like I used to say, there should always be peaceful coexistence between one another. That is the only thing that we enjoy, especially during the festive period. In as much as the revenue collectors will be distracting some people, let us try to maintain decorum. Let us try to maintain very good understanding between the revenue collectors and the commuter. Do not go and shout on anyone. I advise the commuters, if they ask you to present papers, especially the pamphleters, present if you have. If you don't have, you can comfortably tell them, please, I don't have. Then, in the spirit of the Christmas, they may say, okay, try and do it next year. That is it. But I always bring peace to the environment. I always tell people to please let there be peaceful coexistence amongst all of us, especially as we are trying to enjoy the Christmas season.
And that is how we wrap up today's edition of FCT in Focus. As the Christmas season comes along, remember to celebrate in the spirit of love and oneness. I'll be here next week for another edition of FCT in Focus. I am Naomi Oleribe. Till next time, goodbye.